So in this video, we're going to review the trendline breakout strategy, the wave 2 strategy, and I'm going to show you a few examples as well of this at work. And these are examples of ones I traded today. Now, remember with this one, it's a wave 2. So ideally, the collection should have launched at some point in the last 12 to 24 hours. And it's had time to make a high, and then it pulls back. So you see this actually had two pumps. And you're drawing the trend lines down, and you're looking for the breakout. And if we zoom into this one, let me just hide the sidebar. Like I said in earlier videos, obviously with these ones, you're not that concerned. You'll just do a quick check in Soul Scanner, etc. The downward trend line is not clean here because you see there was a downward trend line there. We had a bit of a breakout here, but notice there was no divergence in the RSI. That's one of the signs I look for. None of these techniques are obviously perfect. We just look for good setups. But between these two peaks, there was divergence. And then there was a little bit of volume. Not a lot, but there was if we zoom in a little bit, there was a little bit of volume on a 1 minute as we started to break out. So definitely not a clean breakout by any means. But my point of this video is, what are targets for the breakout? First target is usually these round psychological numbers, which you're already aware of. So as soon as we get a little bit of a bump up, you want to consider taking 25% and then ride it up and see what happens. Obviously, 500 is another one you want to keep an eye on. It didn't actually get any resistance at 500, but there wants to obviously keep an eye on. We just suddenly had a lot of volume at 373 all the way up to 600. So what else? So what are the things that can happen with these trendline breakouts? So there's a couple of things. When we hit a high, one thing I'm looking for is we get a massive crash in price, we get a nice retrace bounce, and then it slowly dies off. That's probably more likely. But then the other possibility is it's just a dip, and then we actually start attacking all-time highs again, and then we die off. So it's a double top. Or the final one is just a dip, and then we actually go and all the way up to Valhalla, 5 million market cap, etc. So we don't know which one it's going to be, but we're going to be ready either way. But if it's going to drop and die, one thing I've noticed, I use Fibonacci a lot in my other trading, Forex trading, stocks, stuff like that. So what you do is you click on these 4 lines here, Fib retracement, and then you go to the high, click there, drag it down, and where it's covering the low, where the 0 covers the low, just drag it across like that, and then click again, and then it holds. Usually, if the project is then going to die off, it will tend to hit the 618 level. Notice we bounced on that very nicely and then sold off. But we are attacking it again. So we're probably going to go a little bit higher. Who knows? But it's the 618 and the 0.5 levels. That's usually levels where projects retrace to and then die off. And Fibonacci works because these markets are mass psychology. That's why Fibonacci works so well. So I love to use it on these retraces. Now, like I said, if it's going up to a double top, then obviously it's going to go to the same level, which was exactly 1 million, and then it will sell off. So you will sell before that, either sell completely or sell a good bit of your position. Or obviously more rare, but sometimes it can break through and then start attacking upwards. Now these ones, when you get a retrace to around 200 market cap from 1 million, that's quite a deep dip, but it's still salvageable. It's still okay. The ones that dip all the way down to like 20, 30,000 market cap, you're pretty confident that those are dead projects. Yes, they'll get a bit of a bounce, so they're probably going to die. So let me show you one as an example. This was GFY, just another random project. It went to a decent market cap, but not massive, 240. But from there, you've seen the way it sold off so quickly. And in terms of percentage sell-off, it's so deep that this is never, once it's sold off 75%, it's not even going to get a good bounce. So here, 55 to 80 was the best bounce. And you're probably thinking, well, what do we do with it now? It's kind of price kind of going sideways and stuff like that. But remember, this project is now down 98% or something like that. It's a dead project. So if you look at the last 5 minutes, there's very little volume going into it. So it's a lot more riskier here trying to get a bounce, because as soon as you get a bit of bounce, everybody who's lost money, they're going to try and sell their final bits of positions for a better price. So this is not going anywhere. So once it's been smashed too much, you don't want to go anywhere near it. So just completely ignore it. Let me show you another example. This was Game Stonk. This is another one. Trend line, not that clear, but a little bit of a trend line there. But notice, let me just hide the chart. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower low here, and then a higher high. So this is literally one live that I've been watching. And notice a lower a higher low on the RSI. We have a trend line breakout as well. And this one, a little bit more volume, but not a lot. So let's just zoom in here. Don't need a lot, just need a little bit of volume. But it usually comes after because people see it breaking out and then they suddenly start aping in like crazy. But yeah, from here, a little bit of volume going up, but it definitely wasn't dying off and going down. So that's a good thing. And same thing again, if you're looking for targets, we don't know how high it's going to go. The top here was 1.5 exactly. Again, round numbers, perfect. So what can happen? Double top. It can break through and go even higher, or it can be a retrace and then the project slowly dies off, which is a bad sign if it doesn't push up from here. So click on the top, click all the way down to the bottom. It doesn't need to be perfect, but try and get it as exact as you can. Notice we already bounced off the 0.5. So keep an eye on it, go into the 0.618 and then dying off from there or dying off from here. We don't know. So if you're in this position, you'll have taken some profit and then you let it run and then you just keep an eye on these two levels. Very, very key levels. And by the way, this 618 happens to fall right around 1 million. So the line's probably a little bit thicker, around 1,618,000. If it runs, you definitely are going to see selling here, almost certain. So you'll take profits at 973, 968 before that happens. That's how you trade that one. So let's have a look at one live that has a little bit of a dip, but not much. So it got to 180 and it's now having a dip. Now notice that this is a wave 1, so it's not really a wave 2, one that's ran very, very high. So it's a kind of different process, but the technicals are sometimes the same. You can still draw the same trend lines, look for breakouts. So let's get on to a 1 minute. So you can see the same trend line, look for breakout. Let me see what happened with the RSI. I wouldn't be surprised if we got divergence, but not guaranteed. Let's have a look. So this one actually, because this is a fast moving one, we didn't even get any proper divergence here. You see that? So no proper divergence. The volume and stuff is good, but let's see if it has a new low with divergence this time. Because then that would be one I'm interested in. But at the moment it's breaking through. We want to see maybe if it's going to run, we want to see it bounce on this line and do a retest. They don't always do this if they're moving fast. If it does a retest or if it does a lower high, because remember we want the stairs to go upwards, I will consider buying here if the setup looks good. I don't know much about the project. It looks pretty simple one. It's just Floki and they've just added a hat on it. But yeah, so it's not the best project in the world, but can it do a little bit of a run? Yeah, maybe. But if this was the all-time high at 188, which we don't know, but it's possible, then again, I'm just going to, and we start running from here, and that was indeed the low for now. I'm going to just keep an eye on the 0.5, 0.618 levels of fib retracement, just to see. If it breaks through the 0.618, then I'm confident it could run to all-time highs, but I just keep an eye on those. But remember, this is a little bit different. This is more a wave 1, because it just launched literally an hour or two ago. So if it's still not made its high yet, it could run to make its high. And then after 6 to 12 hours, then you're doing the trend line breakout trade for a wave 2. So hope that makes sense. Check the last 5 minutes. Yeah, the volume's still good. So this is slightly different, but remember the technical approach is much the same. Watch out for round numbers and stuff like that as well. So this may not even pull back, to be honest with you, but then I'm not going to get involved with it. Never ever just chase green candles going upwards. So keep an eye on that as well. That's it for this one. Thanks for listening.